My Solana position is currently earning me 0.122% per 24 hours. And over a course of a year, that is 44, almost 45% per year. I don't have much into this pool yet, but I will be deploying more capital as we scale it further. Now, in the past month, Solana went from $141, then it hit a high of $181, and now it's sitting at about $159, $160. With liquidity pools, there are multiple ways you can earn high APR on your Solana, so let's get into it. First step is we gotta head over to this website, Metrics Finance. It's the best liquidity pooling software, and you're about to see why. So once we're on the software, we're gonna hit launch app, and then on the software you can basically find liquidity pool opportunities and simulate your returns. So first thing is I'm gonna go over to the discover section in the top left. Now you can see a ton of liquidity pools, and I'm gonna go ahead and select our networks. So I'm gonna select Orca, Radium, and then Solana. Now we're gonna see a ton of pools on the Solana network, and if we go ahead and hit pool, this little filter in the top left, we can type in some assets. So must include Solana. Now you can see some pools are meme pools like Sol Mu with a 235% APR, and this pool SOS to Sol has negative fees APR, so we're gonna go ahead and filter those out. So in the fees APR filter, let's do higher than 10% APR and lower than 90%. Right off the bat, we see some opportunities, and this one says 39% APR, about 38%, and don't be alarmed, the APR can be higher once we actually go ahead and set up our range. This is just the default APR with the ranges set by Metrics Finance. I like to sort by TVL, which is the default method of sorting these liquidity pools, because typically pools with higher TVL can be more consistent and more stable in the long run, which is what I like to look for. You saw in my current portfolio I have Sol to USDC, so let's go ahead and check out that pool right here, Sol to USDC. We can go ahead and simulate that in a new tab. Right off the bat, the APR changed. It says we're getting 59% APR. I'm gonna go ahead and set the current price over to where there's more liquidity, so hopefully we can get a more accurate simulation of what a return would be. So now it's at 37%. That seems more realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and change the range. I'm going to lower the max price, lower the min price a bit, and we have the calculation range, which is set to 30. So that means on this chart, we're seeing 30 days of data. We can go ahead and zoom that out so we can see what the pool was looking like back in the past 60 days. We can zoom back in. So I'm thinking this range will be fine for me. And it says we're getting 43% APR using this range. If we want to get a more, hopefully more accurate representation of our APR, we can zoom in the calculation range of it to maybe like 15 days. And it's saying using this current range with the past 15 days of data, we'd be getting 56% APR. That is so solid. Anyways, I'm gonna zoom my calculation range back out to 30 days, and it's saying we'd be getting 43%. I'm gonna put my deposit amount to $10,000. So if we were to deposit $10,000, every 24 hours, we'd be getting $11.88 and $4,336 per year, according to the simulation, which is really solid, especially on only $10,000. Remember, there are risks to DeFi investing, such as divergence loss. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do with your money. I'm just explaining my opinion on these pools in crypto. And scrolling down, we can see correlation. These assets are currently 44% correlated. Keep that in mind. And some of these features, such as checking the VAR calculation range and seeing correlation, and many other features, are only available on the pro version of Metrics. But a cool thing about watching this channel is that you can get the pro version of Metrics completely for free. Scroll down in the description, you'll see it at the bottom. Anyways, this range is looking really solid to me. So the next steps would be I would save it to my portfolio, do more due diligence on Solana and the USDC, and see if I want to take on exposure to it. But let's check out what other opportunities we have. So besides USDC Solana, we have JITO to GTO, and I'm not going to take a look at that because I'm not too familiar with JTO, so I probably wouldn't want to take on exposure to it. So moving on, let's take a look at what other opportunities we have. I see JITO to JTO with high fees APR. I'm not too familiar with JTO, so I'm not going to look at this pool at the moment. I could look at it in the future, but it doesn't seem too blue chip to me, so I'm not going to look at it. Let's check out this JLP Sol right here at 20% APR. Let's go ahead and simulate that in a new tab. All right, I'm going to move the current price to where there's a bit more liquidity right here, and it's saying we're getting, 20% APR, and we can definitely change our range here. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten the range up a bit, and now we're sitting at 34% APR. So that's a big difference from 20%. We can even go a bit tighter probably. I like to zoom out my calculation range and see how the pool performed. Wow, this range looks very solid. I might even be able to go a bit tighter and see if we can squeeze more APR out. Great. So from the past 30 days of data, it's saying we'd be getting 38% APR. So with $10,000, that would be almost $4,000 per year, which is solid. Scrolling down, you can see that these assets are much more correlated than the last pool. They're 96% correlated. And looking at the volume, it's pretty consistent. It goes down up, down, up. Like many other pools, a lot of them have a similar graph, but when you're looking at like meme pools or pools with low TVL, you might see low volume, but this looks totally fine. So this looks really solid. I'm going to go ahead and save it to my portfolio right now. Now for something really blue chip, if you just want to diversify your portfolio even more, you can do something like wrapped Bitcoin to Sol. Let's go ahead and simulate that. It's set, the default APR is 13%, but we'll be able to get a bit more. Let's see. If I drag my max price to about here and my min price to about here, we're getting 26% APR, but I can't tell if our current price is on the liquidity. I'm going to move the current price a bit more. All right, it seems like we're better on the liquidity. And yeah, we're getting about 25% yearly APR on this right now. You can zoom out the calculation range, zoom back in. This pool also looks very solid. These assets are 77% correlated. So now I could go ahead and save this one to my portfolio as well. I want to take a moment to talk to you guys about something that we recently launched called DeFi Elite Suite. It's where the best community in DeFi meets the best software. Now, if you are someone who has not gotten into DeFi and is looking for a place to start, or is struggling in DeFi and is not profitable, we are here to help. If you're frustrated by unexpected divergence loss, or overwhelmed by complex DeFi analytics, or if you're trying to make your passive income more passive, we are here to help. We're also here to help you find more profitable and consistent liquidity pools. Here's exactly what you'll get. You'll get a year of the Metrics Pro software, and you'll have a year in the DeFi Excel community. This is the best place for someone who is looking to start their DeFi journey or is looking to take it the next step further. You also will get a private one-on-one onboarding session where we'll walk you through the Metrics Pro software, and you can ask us any questions you'd like. And we're giving away something that we've never given away before, which is the DeFi Elite Starter Guide, which you'll also get access to. Normally, if you go to this website without clicking the link in my description, it's $500 per year. But if you click the link in the description now, you can lock it in for $450 per year. This is a ton of value that can be locked in at $450 per year today, so click the link in the description. Now I want to look for another blue chip pair. Let's go ahead and look for Sol to ETH. So I'm going to see if there's any pairs that have Sol and ETH. All right, here we go. Sol to wrapped ETH, and we have ETH to Sol. This one has much higher TVL, so I'd be more interested in this one. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate it in a new tab. Now here, I'm going to set my deposit amount to $10,000. The current price seems to already be on with this high liquidity, so I'm not going to change that. We can zoom out on the calculation range. All right, just checking out the past 100 days of data. I'm going to zoom back into 30 days. Now let's lower our min price and lower our max price. We're getting about 25% APR with this current setup right now. That's solid, mainly because it's such a blue chip position. There's Sol and ETH. It's not Sol with some random altcoin. The volume history is all right. There's some low days here and there, especially in the beginning of October, but recently there's been very high volume, so I wouldn't be too worried. These assets are 47% correlated as well. Keep that in mind. And I'm going to go ahead and save this one to my portfolio as well. And make sure you're doing your due diligence on these tokens to make sure you want to take on exposure to them. And once you have chosen pools and added them to your portfolio, you can head over to the build section. So we have 3 pools right here, and each one is set to a $10,000 deposit amount. And overall, our yearly APR would be 30% and 2.5% monthly. So with a $30,000 investment, we'd be getting over $9,000 per year and about $25 per day according to this. If this has helped you, make sure to subscribe and click the bell to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload, and I'll see you in the next one.